Hey, I'm Kelly Hogan. Today I'm going to share just candid conversation with you on, I'm looking at my list, like 10 topics. We'll find out. Whatever the thumbnail said is probably what it turned out to be. All right, first I want to give a 1 minute intro because if you take nothing else away from this video, and maybe you won't, I hope you at least hear this. I'm now 46, but when I was 25 years old, my health was just tanking. I was obese. I also dealt with many symptoms of inflammation. So I had chronic acne and I kept getting boils on my body, which were very painful, awful. They had to be lanced by the doctor, packed full of gauze. I would get them on my legs, on my backside, my butt. I would get cellulitis, patches of red hotness around these boils. Oh, it was so bad. I also had costochondritis, which means that the cartilage that connects your rib cage to your sternum, it kept getting very inflamed. I would just have to literally curl up in a ball and lay there and try to breathe. It feels like you can't breathe. If any of you have ever had even one episode of costochondritis, please comment below to tell people I am speaking the truth. It feels like you are going to die. You are debilitated. You cannot get up and move at all when you're having an attack. You just curl up and try to breathe. That's what I was dealing with in my 20s. But even that I don't think was as bad as the boils. Oh, okay. It's not a contest. They were all terrible. Terrible. Now, at that point in my life, I went to my doctor, Dr. Benjamin Dunlap, who saved my life. He made me cry. He hurt my feelings. He said, Kelly, you are inflamed. And if you don't lose at least 100 pounds and get this inflammation under control, you are going to keep having to have these boils cut, lanced forever. I cried. I thought he was mean. He hurt my feelings. And then I asked him, I don't know how to lose 100 pounds. What am I supposed to do? Because I tried everything except what he was about to tell me. He said, you're inflamed from excessive carbohydrate intake. If you cut out the carbs, your inflammation is going to come down. You're going to feel better. You're going to stop getting these boils. All of these pains and aches and skin issues are going to clear up and you're going to start to lose weight. Okay, let's go. So I asked him, what are carbohydrates? He explained the whole thing. He said, look, your diet should be focused on meat, animal products. You can have eggs, you can have dairy as long as it agrees with you. And he said, if you want to have anything other than that, do not touch pasta or starches, not even fruit. But if you need anything else, you can have some leafy greens, pickles, green beans. Other than that, he said, I don't care if it's your birthday. Don't touch it. All right, fast forward to now. I am not on any medications. I have not had one more episode of costochondritis since that day. Not one more boil since that day. It's been a miracle for me. I started off at 262 pounds and now I'm about 125. Hold on, let me do the math. Okay, I've lost 137 pounds. There you go. Even bigger news than that. I was having some fertility issues beforehand. My period had stopped for 2 years, and now I have 3 beautiful children. Life is good. If that's the only thing you get from this video is that some of your health issues could be improved if you changed your diet to be less inflammatory, my work here is done. But wait, there's more. So this is just going to be kind of a casual conversation. If you want to grab a seltzer water, I have one. By the way, this is one of my favorite new seltzer waters. My seltzers are all unsweetened, but they do have natural flavors. Some people do not tolerate natural flavors or carbonation, and I do. So Waterloo, I'll link below to an article about how they determined that Waterloo is one of the safest, lowest in the forever chemicals, best sourced seltzers. So I mostly drink Waterloo. I'm not affiliated with anyone, including Waterloo, but this one is spiced mango sorbet. Again, not sweetened, and it's one of my new favorite flavors. I just buy it at Walmart. I told you this was going to be random, so don't be surprised. All right, a couple of my recent videos have been with doctors, Dr. Boz, Dr. Annette Bosworth, and Dr. Ken Berry. And one of the topics that each of these amazing physicians discussed was GLP-1 and peptides. This is outside of my wheelhouse. I am not a medical professional. I have never had one dose of a GLP or peptide 1 other than what my own body has produced just naturally. And by the way, eating a diet that is low in carbohydrates, a carnivore or zero carb diet, and moving your body and getting sunlight, a lot of the things that we talk about here on this channel are already fantastic for encouraging our own body to naturally produce these GLP-1s within our own body. But I've never utilized any products or pharmaceuticals or external peptides. I did share recently that my husband has been using a very low dose of tirzepatide, and it was partly because he did want to lower his carbs, and it was really hard for him. He wasn't highly motivated. Many of us have done that without the use of any expensive, controversial product. And I'm very thankful that I've been able to do that. I bet you are too. If you're with me, you've gotten some great results, you're feeling good, and you were able to do it with diet and lifestyle. Look, fist bump. Okay. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for me. I just wanted to open the conversation because there is some really cool research about some of the protective effects that very low doses of these peptides or GLP-1 antagonists have had in some studies when it comes to the heart and even neuroprotective effects. And I just wanted to learn more. That's it. I've gotten a little flack, but mostly people have been like, wow, that's very interesting. I did not know. Many people have said the reason they were so opposed to it is because people in their lives that they do know that were using these peptides were getting terrible results, but they were also being given the standardized dosing, which I tried to make really clear does not work for everybody. Anything you do, if it causes you to be so nauseated that you can't eat a big old steak or so tired that you can't go lift some big old weights, it's probably not going to be a win. And if you're an under-eater, so carnivore, especially women, carnivore women tend to not eat enough. They've dieted. And I did a video, I'll link to this as well, about Una, the under-eater, versus Maggie, the maintainer, and I think it was Violet, the volume eater. If you are an Una, the under-eater, you are not eating enough for your body, and you're also unable to drop weight. Then taking a peptide that might make you eat even less because in large doses, it does have an appetite suppressing factor. For some people, that can be a win. And for Una, the undereater, it's not going to be a win. There is some research showing some anti-inflammatory factors for these peptides when used correctly. I will also link to a video that Nick Norwich just did about the importance of getting down inflammation and how we can do that through diet and lifestyle without paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month. But if you're already doing the foundations, he did share the research to say, look, some people are also lowering inflammation with a low dose of these peptides when combined with diet and lifestyle. So again, my job here is not to convince anyone to try peptide. I would frankly just rather everybody eat meat and feel amazing. I just worry for the people who something is still not right and they're not feeling amazing. That's why I brought people on to talk about CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome. Why I've had Dr. Elizabeth Bright to come on and talk about the thyroid. I've had Dr. Jamie Seaman come on and talk about bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I've had people who had amazing results from large doses of iodine. I've had people who needed electrolytes, people who've utilized extended fasting. I have no personal experience with any of those things, but I'm still allowed to talk about it. And even if I'm not the one doing the most of the talking, I want to learn about it. I want to have guests who do know, who can say, look, if you're doing the foundations, you might also need some of these options. Oh, and one more thing. My husband is feeling good. He is able to eat a big old steak and go lift weights at the gym. He is doing all of those things. He has lost about 25 pounds. He and I just went to a prom at the university where he works, hence the purple nails. We were decked out in 80s attire. We had a great time. We danced the night away. I can tell he's feeling good in his body. And that's the goal. I want him to feel good long term. Our hope is that he will be reducing the dose, even though it's very low, and hopefully either come to a very tiny maintenance dose or come off completely. I will keep you posted on how that goes. We're not there yet. People have said, how's it going? It's still good, but he's still in the process. All right, next topic. This one, I don't know why I haven't been more public about this. But I have had a Eustachian tube dysfunction for 15 to 20 years. So when I initially lost a lot of weight, I started noticing a weird thing in my ear. It was not a ringing. This is not the same as tinnitus. It was like a muffly, almost like the way things sound if you drive through the mountains and your ear is very stopped up. But then also like when you yawn, how everything gets really distorted, where it's like, oh my gosh, what is that? And my own voice in my head sounded like, yes, very reminiscent of the Peanuts gang teacher. As someone who teaches, talks, and at that point was teaching music, it was almost impossible to sing. It was very hard to hear pitch in myself or other people. It was very hard to hold a conversation when it was happening, and it became more and more frequent. I went to an ear, nose, and throat specialist at the time who checked and said, oh, you have almost no pressure in your left ear. And I was diagnosed with a patulous Eustachian tube. They call it PET. And a very common cause of this issue is some of the fat that helps support our Eustachian tube. When a person loses around half of their body weight, it is very common for the Eustachian tube to start to malfunction, and it hangs loose. Put it on the list of things that were hanging loose on my body at that time, by the way. I did deal with a lot of loose skin. It has gotten better. I haven't had any procedures, but age, genetics, time, and a lot of fat and protein through the years have made it fine. It's fine, right? It's fine. But the Eustachian tube was not fine. It would come and go, but it would mostly it was just getting worse and worse. If I leaned my head to the left, which I would sometimes do in interviews, trying to look thoughtful, really, it would relieve some of that issue. It's called autophony. And the autophony is that muffled noise. I could hear my own breathing. I could sometimes hear my own heartbeat, even when I wasn't running. And it was almost always my left ear. Back when I was diagnosed, the doctor told me that PET does not have a cure. You can try regaining the weight. It does not always put the fat back where it needs to be. You know, when you lose and gain weight, you lose it and gain it from different areas every time. He said it's not a surefire thing, but some people will try to put some weight back on. Okay. Anything else? Any other solutions? No, not really. He said some people get Botox in their ear to try to beef it up, but he says it's temporary, it's expensive, it's not covered by insurance, and it doesn't always work. Okay, so I've just dealt with it. Literally more than 15 years. Just dealt with it. I would try to record when it wasn't flaring up, and I would teach my classes sometimes like this. Yes, it's been very annoying. Thank you for asking. But I have an update. For the past 3 weeks, I have had 0 episodes of PET in either ear. And I did not have to regain weight or get Botox in my Eustachian tube. I had joined a support group for PET sufferers a couple of months ago, mostly because it was just getting so frustrating and I wanted to connect with other people who were going through what I was going through. I don't know why I waited so long to find a support group, but I found one. When I was there, I read that some people were getting positive results by cutting out all caffeine and drinking a lot of water. Well, it was about time for Lent season to begin. I'm not Catholic, but our family very often will give something up or add something to our lives if we feel like it will draw us closer to the Lord during the time of Lent. So I thought, well, this sounds like a great time to give up all caffeine. And I did. And what I decided to do was drink a lot of water. It's like, well, this is my new job. This is my career path. I will hydrate. And it has worked. I am thrilled. It's a game changer. I know this is a carnivore channel. I just thought maybe somebody out there, because so many of you have experienced weight loss, maybe I'm not the only one. Maybe we just haven't said anything because doctors told us it couldn't be fixed. But what if it's as easy as I cut out caffeine and drink a whole lot of water? If you have ever had PET, diagnosed or not, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's what that is? Please leave me a comment. I will read it and see it, but that's where I am on it right now. I am just very thankful. I have no intentions of adding back caffeine or allowing myself to even be mildly dehydrated. It's just going to be me drinking water and running to the bathroom, and it's working. Okay. I'm looking at my next topics. A lot of these are short. Hey, I mentioned seltzer water, but I forgot to tell you, I love the flavor of a seltzer water, especially some of the more fruity ones. Again, there's no juice, there's no sweetener, but with about a tablespoon of vinegar, apple cider vinegar. I do get the kind with the mother, but I'm mostly doing it for the taste. I love the taste of a seltzer water with vinegar. Have you ever tried it? Gosh, I feel like we should be at a little coffee shop or something, well, without caffeine, having this conversation so I could ask you questions. Just tell me, have you tried vinegar in your seltzer? And if you haven't, maybe give it a whirl. I think it's fabulous. It's supposed to also be good for digestion, but I just really like the taste. Oh, hey, I've still been going to my stretching classes. I just went today. I go twice a week. That's my commitment. 2 hours per week at the gym in my stretching and flexibility classes. I love it. I'm also weight training 2 times per week. Hey, the machines at my gym have a little QR code, and I have this app called Life Fitness. And on Life Fitness, you can either scan the QR code on the machine and then just tell it what weight you're lifting and how many times you lifted it, how many reps, or you can, if your machines don't have the QR codes, you can simply look on the app and look for the machine. They have every type of machine or free weight, I think, that's been invented, and just push the one that you're doing and tell it the weight. And then at the end of your session, you push finish session or finish workout. That's it. And it'll tell you at the top of the app how much weight you lifted during that session. It's so cool. And so every time I go, I'm just trying to lift a little bit more each time than I did before, while still trying to keep it to around 30 to 40 minutes. I'm not trying to be there all day long, but 2 sessions per week, 30 to 40 minutes. That's what I'm doing. And I love the game of trying to just do a little more than before. Part of the way I know that all of this is going well is because I do have some body composition scales. I do own one of the really expensive in-body scales. I think they're normally around $350 to $400. They sent me one. I'm not going to bash their product, but I am going to tell you that it's a little finicky. Every time you do it, it'll give me different data. A nice tool to have, but also a frustrating one. Well, I have 3 other body composition scales, and they're fantastic, and they do seem more reliable. And I went and had a DEXA scan done, and it aligned very nicely with these scales, and pretty nicely with the in-body when it's having a good day. So the in-body is like, oh, okay, sometimes that makes sense. And then sometimes it'll suddenly tell me I'm at 22% body fat or 13% body fat. And I'm like, what? What did I do today? Nothing. But these 3 tend to give me very similar data and nothing weird. No outlier data for good or for bad. So I will link to those. The Renfo scale and eTech City are probably my 2 favorite. They're both they're $20. $20. The Vivitar scale is also $20, and I love it, but it doesn't connect to the phone to give all this cool data like the other 2 do. So I've been tracking body fat percentage, muscle mass. I am less concerned with my overall weight and want to make sure that I am hanging on to my muscle, and therefore body fat percentage going down is a good way for you to know that the scale is dropping, but my body fat percentage is dropping. Or even if the scale is going up, but your body fat percentage is going down, that number to me, body fat percentage, matters far more to me than just overall body weight. You could be putting on muscle, losing fat, and you're going to see the percentage go down. Another reason I've been so interested in using these scales is I've been doing a few weird experiments. My group members know all about it, but I've been experimenting with having an incredibly big, incredibly high fat breakfast every morning. I know a few videos ago, I talked to you about this carnivore ice cream. It's just heavy cream and egg yolks. As far as flavor goes, I sometimes add a little pure vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and some cinnamon. But I'll have 9 ounces of that heavy cream with egg yolks every morning lately. It is about 1,000 calories for breakfast. I know I just said the C word. I said it. I just want you to know it's a big breakfast. And then for the rest of the day, switching over to moderate-sized carnivore meals like 30 grams of protein of meat or eggs for lunch and dinner. Now, because this is something weird, I would normally recommend that we get 30 grams of protein 3 times per day. And I'm going to come back to this protein thing in a minute, but let's keep going for now. Because I would normally do that 3 times per day, and now I'm only doing it 2 times per day with pure fat for breakfast, I really want to keep track to make sure body fat percentage is going down while I'm not losing muscle. So there's another random update. Okay, back to this protein thing. When people comment on YouTube about protein, I see this as the biggest confusion. People will say, 30 grams of protein, but that is so little meat. And it turns out that they are putting their meat on a food scale and trying to get it to be 30 grams of meat. Y'all, 30 grams would be 1 ounce of meat. No wonder y'all are losing your minds when I say eat 30 grams of protein. So 30 grams of protein is not the same as 30 grams of meat. 30 grams of meat is a very tiny, it's a bite, okay? 30 grams of protein, you can't find that out from a food scale. You need to either look at the package of meat, the nutritional facts, or use an app like Carb Manager, enter whatever you're eating. If you're eating 5 to 6 ounces of meat, now you're going to get about 30 grams of protein. If you are eating 2 burger patties, these are 1/4 pound beef patties, then that is 36 grams of protein. If you eat 5 large eggs, that is 30 grams of protein. But you can't find that out from a food scale. So for any of you who think that I am eating 1 ounce of meat to get 30 grams of meat, no, that's not what's happening over here. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to tell you. Hey, I got a new treadmill. The other one had not died, and I don't have anything bad to say about it, except that with 2 years of constant use, I'm serious, that was a very heavily worked treadmill. It started to get loud, squeaky. It was slow to start. I kept oiling it, but it was just wearing down. So I still have it. It's right next to my brand new one. My kids sometimes walk next to me while we watch Netflix. But the new treadmill is actually about half the price. I got it for $88. It was on sale. It's typically $100 to $110. It's much quieter. It is a little smaller. It's just a walking pad. I shouldn't even call it a treadmill. It doesn't do an incline, and it doesn't have the rails. So you could store it up against the wall or under a couch. It's quite small. But I put a desk over top, a standing desk, and I can just type. So I will link to it below. I really like this one. I'm sure there are about 42,000 great treadmills out there. If you have a favorite walking pad or treadmill, feel free to tell me in the comments. But I think for the price of about $100, this one is very good. Okay, let's talk about in my groups. I'm just going to say this briefly. There have been some new updates in the group. I've got assistant coaches. We have breakout rooms. So the groups are getting large. There are a lot of amazing carnivores out there. Hey. And they've been joining, but the groups were getting big. And we sometimes wanted time to just talk in smaller groups. So I do start off every class with full group session where we have some shares, I teach a lesson, and then we split off into some smaller groups for smaller discussions and specific lessons that are being taught on different topics. So that is new. Also, I know I said I was done with the GLP thing, but I forgot about this. There is a new chapter in my book about peptides, just some great resources, ways to get them if you are to that point of your journey, reasons you may or may not want to try them, some of the benefits, the pros, the cons, and links to some support groups. Adrienne Gledhill, she hosts a fantastic support page for carnivores who are lifting weights and using a low dose. So that is new and it is in the handbook. Okay, seriously, I'm done with the peptides. Oh, and I did just get, let's see, it's still got the tag on it, some new shirts. They're slightly cropped, but not like a crop top. It's just like the boxy cut. I'll post a picture. Really soft sweatshirts. That's a new thing. I talked recently about the circle of control. I think that was maybe last Saturday's video. If I don't have the stickers in yet, because I'm still waiting for them, but they might be here by the time this video comes out. I've just really enjoyed having one of these on my fridge and one on my water bottle and one on my laptop because it really reminds me of what to focus on inside the circle. If you didn't see that talk with Nanette, that may not make sense yet, but I'll link to that as well. That's a lot of links. Oh, another new thing that I've been doing now that the weather is warming up a little bit is when I am in my car, cracking the window 2 or 3 inches, not necessarily for the fresh air, but for the natural light. So the glass in our cars block a lot of the UV and UVA light that our brains really need to signal that it's daylight. Remember Dr. Berry talked about the importance of getting that morning light when it comes to not just, oh, I'm working on circadian rhythm, but for our metabolism, for our mental well-being, and for our sleep. So if you don't have a lot of time to literally go stand outside or walk outside or play outside or pet your dog outside, all of those things are great. But you could also make use of your vehicle. If you're like me and you're in your 40s, then you live in your car if you have children, especially. Am I right? We just drive people places. I pick them up, I drop them off, I go watch this practice and that practice. My kids are into it all right now. So I do have a lot of time in my car. So if I crack the window, I am at least getting those natural rays into my eyeballs to go to my brain and signal the time of day. And I do find that it does make me feel happier and sleep better without taking a minute longer in my day. Other things that I've been doing for my sleep scores, I know I've already told you I got this sleep mask that I love. Y'all, on a weekend, I would normally wake up at about the same time because the sun is coming up. However, I can actually sleep in with this sleep mask. It's delightful. My friend KARENMILES, she was unable to sleep past a certain time, and now she is able to get more sleep because of the sleep mask. I love this one. Also, I've got my little red night lights in my bedroom and in my bathroom. So if I ever do wake up, it doesn't like wake my brain up. Oh, I've got to take one of those to my parents' house. Their bathroom is like walking onto the surface of the sun. It is so bright. Oh my gosh. So yeah, a little red nightlight can be helpful. I have also tried the nasal strips and I like those, but they're kind of hard to peel off. Some brands are really intense. So I also have tried these things called nasal dilators. Let me show you a really good look right now. Okay. You literally plug them into your nostrils and it opens or dilates your nostrils to help you get even better air. I do mouth tape still. It wouldn't be a Kelly Hogan video if I didn't mention walking and mouth tape, right? So I do tape my mouth. I do have a sleep mask and I do have these little nasal dilators. I know it's a pretty sexy thing to imagine. Don't worry. I have time with my husband before I get this whole get up together, okay? Things are fine in our marriage. Stop worrying about that man. I think that's it for right now. It was kind of nice to just come on and have a casual chat. No script, no guests, no real agenda. Just things that are happening in my life. Oh, also, we got a new hamster. Her name is Maggie. She's very cute. Annie really wanted a rabbit, but this was a compromise. Yeah, okay, you're up to date. Hey, if you didn't get anything from the random updates, whether it was, the high-fat breakfast or the body composition scale, updates on my groups, sleep tips, roll down the window. If you're like, nah, please at least take this away. The food that we eat, the daily habits that we have, whether it's the sunlight, the moving our bodies and stretching class and weight training, these daily changes, even little ones like cracking the window in the car. It's easy for us to think that's so minute and silly. Does that even matter? I frequently will say out loud, it matters. If I feel that little voice popping up, it matters. It matters. All of these little things added up. It matters. It matters for our future health, our strength, our mental health, our sleep, and that's life. All of these things, how strong we feel on a daily basis, how happy, how well we love on our people because we feel good, all of it really matters. But to me, the biggest change we can make when it comes to our physical health is the food that we put into our body all day, every day. So let's keep our inflammation down, nourish ourselves beautifully with good, delicious, fatty, tasty meats, and keep out all of the junk that hurts us. All right. Thanks for joining me today. See you soon. Bye.